Okay, now cause of decline of Portuguese power of India. Economic reason: discoveries of Brazil diverted their economic interest, dishonest trade practice, rampant corruption, slave trade, uh, and increased piracy made the ruler resentful of them. Religious: increased proselytizing activities created fear amongst masses. Zeal of Christianity around political fear. Political rise of other trading powers such as English, French, and Dutch. Spain won Portugal in 1580 AD. Philip I of Spain neglected Portuguese dominion in India. The Portuguese administration had become corrupt. More powerful dynasties of North India and Maratha arose as a challenge. More enterprising competitor English, French, Dutch emerged, and they were favored by the Mughal Empire. Portuguese gift to India: cultivation of tobacco and potato, and first printing press in India, 1556. First scientific work on Indian medicinal plant. Portuguese administration chronology as per hierarchy in India. Viceroy 3 year, added by secretary, one council in the latter year. Bedor da Fazenda, responsible for revenue and the cargoes and dispatch of fleets. Fortresses under captain. Factors assisted the captain. Why can the Portuguese be said to be the master of the sea? The extensive onward supply floodwater enabled them to travel long distance. Multi-decked ship permitted them to carry heavy armament. Use of cattle prow and steam. Their skill of organization, mapping royal arsenal, regular system of pilots, etc. also helped them. Second was the Dutch East India Company. The Dutch East India Company was established in 1602. Cornelius Houtman reached India 1596 AD and returned 1597 with a large cargo. Between 1595 to 1601, 15 voyages have been conducted by the Dutch to East Indies. Cornelius de Houtman was the first Dutchman to reach Sumatra, and Batman in 1596. In 1602, there was an amalgamation of many trading companies into the East India Company of the Netherlands. This company was empowered to carry on war, to conclude treaties, to make possession of the territory, to erect fortress. Dutch established their settlement of Masulipatam, Karikal, Nagapatnam, Pulicat, Surat, Chinsura, and Kasim Bazar. Dutch exports indigo, cotton textile, saltpeter, raw silk, opium from India. It was the first company to issue stock. In the 17th century, before the prominence of British, they emerged as the most prominent power in European trade in the East. Main center of Dutch in India was Pulicat, and later it was replaced by Nagapattinam. Indonesian island of Java, Sumatra, and the Spice Island, where spices were produced, were the main interest of the Dutch. Anglo-Dutch rivalry. The Dutch had massacred 10 Britishers in Amayogana, Indonesia. 1667 Anglo-Dutch agreement. British agrees to withdraw all their clients on Indonesia and Dutch retired from India. Dutch more interested in trade and not empire building. In 1667 Dutch agrees to leave alone English settlement in India while English gave up all claims to Indonesia. Dutch commercial activities started to decline by the beginning of 18th century and with the Battle of Pedra with the English in 1759 it came to an end. Short-sighted commercial policy, which was mostly based on trade in spices, was also a major cause of decline of Dutch power. Next came British East India Company. The British East India Company, sometimes also called John Company, was a joint stock company established in 1600 as the Company of the Merchant of London trading into the East Indies. William Hawkins stayed at the court of Jahangir from 1608 to 1611. The British Company gained foothold in India in 1612 when Mughal Emperor Jahangir granted the right to establish a factory in Surat to Sir Thomas Roe. The Court of Directors was the supreme authority in the framing policies for the company. Moved towards colonization in the first 50 years of its arrival, British East India Company had no interest in development of colonies. It preferred to engage in trade only. This policy saw a change by 1650 when the power of the old guard British royalty merchant was broken and a new class of merchant wrested control of the company. Later they tried to establish the political power so that they can compel the Mughals to allow them a free hand in trade and keep the rival European out. In 1686, hostilities between English and Mughal Empire broke out when English had declared war on Emperor English lost the war and apologized for the same. 1717 Farrukhsiyar Farmans, an English mission led by John Sherman to the court of Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar, secured Farman, regarded as a Magna Carta of the company. Company's import and export were exempted from additional custom duties, excepting the annual payment of 3000 rupees permitted to issue dastak passed. It was declared that the coin of the company minted at Bombay were to have currency throughout. Next, the Danish East India Company. The Danish formed a East India Company at 1616 in India. Important Danish settlement in India was Serampur in Bengal. It was also their headquarters in India. They could not establish their position in India and finally sold all their Indian settlement to the English in 1845. They were more concerned with missionary activities. Next came French East India Company. Company name Compagnie des Indes Orientales. During the reign of Louis XIV, the king's famous minister Colbert laid the foundation of the Company des Indes Orientales, French East India Company in 1664, a 50-year monopoly on French trade in the India and Pacific Ocean. Company got right to hold Madagascar plus any of the territories it would capture. French East India Company was established in 1664. The first French factory in India was established at Surat. The French company was created, financed and controlled by the state, and it offered from the English company, and which was a private commercial venture. Dupleix was an important French governor in India. 1742, Dupleix began the policy of extending territorial empire in India and started political occupation, leading to series of conflict with English in form of Carnatic War. Battle of Vandivas against the East India Company in 1760 was the decisive battle for French existence in India, through which they lost almost all their possession in India. The Carnatic War, fought between English and French forces. People involved: Joseph Francois Dupleix, French Governor General; Major Stringent Lawrence, British; Anwaruddin Khan, Nawab of the Carnatic. When 1746 to 1748, where Carnatic region, southern India, result inconclusive course of the First Carnatic War. France and Britain were on opposite side of the camp, and the War of the Austrian Succession that had broken out in Europe in 1740, the Anglo-French rivalry led to their trading companies in India vying with each other on supremacy. The French governor of Pondicherry, Dupleix, had raised an army of Indian sepoys under French officer in India. French East India Company was nationalized in 1720, and France had imperialistic design on India. In 1745, there was a naval attack on French fleet by Britain, in which even Pondicherry in danger. Dupleix, along the additional French troop from the Mauritius, defended against this attack and captured Madras, which had been controlled by the English. The English made another attack on Pondicherry, but instead faced heavy loss. The English sought help from the Nawab of Carnatic, Arcot Anwaruddin Khan. The Nawab asked the French to return Madras to the Britain. Dupleix tried convincing the Nawabs, unsuccessful, that Madras would be handed over to him at a later stage. Then the Nawab sent a huge army to fight the French force. This army was defeated by the relatively small number of French force in Mylapore in modern-day Chennai in 1746. This exposed the weakness of the armies of the Indian ruler vis-a-vis the effectively trained armies of the European power. The war ended in 1748 with the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, also called Treaty of Aachen. Effect of the First Carnatic War: Madras was given back to the English in exchange for Louisburg in North America to France. Dupleix understood the superiority of the European armies, who used the advantage to influence the Indian princes and established French hegemony in South India. Carnatic War, fought between different claimants to the posts of Nizam of Hyderabad and Nawab of Carnatic, each claimant being supported either by the British or the French. People involved Muhammad Ali and Chand Sahab from the Nawabship of Carnatic of Arcot, Muzaffarjung and Nasirjung for the post of Nawab of Hyderabad when 1749 to 1754, where Carnatic southern India revolt. Muzaffarjung become Hyderabadi Nizam and Muhammad Ali become the Nawab of Carnatic. Course of the Second Carnatic War. The First Carnatic War was demonstrated the power of well-trained European army vis-a-vis the less than efficient army of the Indian princes. The French Governor-General Dupleix wanted to take advantage of this. They asserts influence and authority over the Indian kingdom so as to make way for French Empire in India. So he was looking to interfere in the internal power struggle among the chiefs. Even though England and France were officially at peace with each other as there was no fighting in Europe, the political climate in southern India at that time led the companies to fight in the subcontinent. The Nizam of Hyderabad Asaf Jah first died in 1748, starting a power struggle between his grandson through his daughter Muzaffarjung and son Nasirjung. Anwaruddin Khan, the Nawab of Carnatic, supported Nasirjung's claim to throne of the Nizam. This led the Muzaffarjung to instigate war and French support against Anwaruddin called the Battle of Ambur. Anwaruddin Khan had died in the Battle of Ambur in 1749. Now there was a tussle for the Nawabship of Carnatic between Muhammad Ali, son of Anwaruddin, and Chand Sahab, son-in-law of Dost Ali Khan, a former Nawab of Carnatic. This led to the tripartite understanding among the various party group. Claimants for the Nizam's post Hyderabad, claimants for the Nizam post of Carnatic, and European support. Muzaffarjung, claimants for the post of Nawab, Nizam post of Hyderabad, and Chand Sahab, claimant for the Nawab's post Carnatic. European support French, Nasirjung for Hyderabad post and Muhammad Ali for Carnatic post, supported by English. After Anwaruddin Khan's death, his son Muhammad Ali fled to Trichy. Then Chand Sahib was proclaimed the Nawab of the Carnatic. Then French forces marched on the Deccan and fought and killed Nasirjung. Subsequently, Muzaffarjung was installed at the Nizam of Hyderabad. However, Muzaffarjung was killed a couple of months later and French installed Salabat Jung, another son of Asaf Jung, as the Nizam. In return, the French acquired from the Nizam 4 rich districts on Coromandel coast, northern Sirkars. At this time, Trichy was under the control of Chand Sahab and the French, but the Trichy fort was held by Muhammad Ali. To undermine the growing French power in the region, the English decided to support the Muhammad Ali. Robert Clive, later governor of Bengal, attacked Arcot, the capital of Carnatic, at a divisionary tactics. This is called Siege of Arcot, in which the British won. After the main battle were fought, the Chand Sahib was killed in one of them. Thus Muhammad Ali was installed in the Nawab of Carnatic. The war ended with the Treaty of Pondicherry, Treaty of Gadehui, 1754. Effect of the Second Carnatic War. Although the French gained the northern Sirkar, Dupleix was criticized by the French authority because of heavy loss to the French company. Dupleix was called back to France and he was replaced by Charles Robert Gadehue, who signed the Treaty of Pondicherry. As per the treaty, the English and the French were to indulge only at in commercial activities in India and not interfere in subcontinental political affairs. Third, Carnatic War fought between the French and the British. People involved Count Lely